supposed to be.
Right, good.
So.
And then I see we already started
Yep,
the
already
seating on the maple.
take care of that.
Thank you.
What we want to do is we'll recess this year. We'll drop the seating down some
Right.
to accommodate all the windows here that we have, the new windows.
And then what about the actuator really does the trick, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Don, it's a beautiful building. After 2 years and a month working on this construction, Kafori Construction has just done a really great job for meeting the vision that our committee had for this building. One that would have a lot of light, one that would be ADA compliant, and one that would walk softly on the earth by being a really green building on Capitol Hill. I want to thank you very much.
We appreciate
Thanks.
your hospitality and your patience with being with us going through this. It's been a pleasure doing work with FCNL and all the people in the organization.
Do you have a key for me?
I'll give it to you after we handshake. I appreciate it. And thank you very much.
Thanks, great.
Some of my favorite things in this building were the glass floors in front of the elevator lobbies and the light scoop above, the copper elements of the roof, the green roof. The roof is a very complex roof that has a lot of different layers to it, a lot of different elements on it, primarily the vegetative roof, the copper, and the membrane roof, and they did a really great job of putting those together.
Our general committee asked me as executive secretary to say to the people who worked on the building, who created this, thank you. We knew that in future years, and in a sense, the people who made the building would be nameless to us, but it was very important for us to recognize that without your labor, without your skill, without your daily work, this wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have the privilege of working in it. And on behalf of the committee, we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
My favorite part of working on the FCNL project was that our client, FCNL, was as dedicated to green design as we are, and we don't find very many clients like that.
When our committee first thought about doing this, it said, what a terrible problem. This is such a problem, we don't know if we can take it on. By the time they had spent several months thinking about it, they said, what a great opportunity. Carrie is here representing the General Committee, which took a risk of faith, exercised the courage to say to us, yes, let's take the opportunity to create a new building on Capitol Hill for the next 60 years of our work. And that General Committee said, let's make it ADA compliant because we helped to pass the Americans with Disability Act. They said, let's make it green so it really answers to our idea that we seek an earth restored. We want to walk more softly on the earth. And the building is just filled with light, Carrie. I mean, it's just amazing what the architects were able to do with light. Really wonderful. And when we left here, up there on that old part of the building was a banner that said, war is not the answer. Well, we're back today and we're bringing back the same message to our colleagues over there in the Senate, over there in the House. War is not the answer. The banner goes back up. And here it is.
This is the garden area. It's incomplete. We finished the building so we could get occupancy, but the garden is going to have a fountain back here. Of course, there will be plantings, there will be benches, there will be brise soleil over here on this side. It should be shaded green. You'll see quite a bit more green than you see here now. And it will sort of reflect its surroundings.
And the gardening really will be very nice. It's going to be lots of plants and different types of shrubbery back here. Tim mentioned the brise soleil. The brise soleil will be up against the building, and we'll continue the green all the way up. We'll also, the garden was also done to mimic and reflect the fountains in the garden across the street of the Heart Center building. So we're going to bring across the street over into our space as well.
It took 2 years to do this, and for 2 years somebody's job description changed. It changed from personnel and IT and office management to running this building project. And I think we ought to give a round of applause to our Portia Winstanley who made this happen. Yay, Portia!
I've been in construction for 28 years, and we ran into conditions during the demo process that evolved into an emergency action to stop demo, to brace it, to save the wall from collapse.
We're here in front of this beautiful building, and this building is a metaphor for our work. To understand a metaphor, you have to understand what our architect Gina Baker and what our contractor Paul Fangmeyer and Don McGee have been able to do with this building. It was a historic building, and it was falling down. We had a falling down house. In 1997, the engineers said, you got about 5 years here, you got to manage it carefully while you're in, manage the risk, but you're going to have to replace this thing. And the challenge was how to keep up these historic walls, how to put foundations under them because the foundations weren't there, and how to rebuild this so that it would be a house for work for the next 60 years in the 21st century. What a humongous job that was, and they did such a fantastic job of it too. Really remarkable. And what this says to me is FCNL has to rebuild another house, a house of democracy which is threatened, and a house of democracy which is falling down. And we need architects, we need contractors, we need engineers, we need people to put that house of democracy back so that it's safe, so that it's secure, so that it's strong, but also so that it reflects all the values of America in the way we tried to do this building. Arthur?
We'd like to take a period of silent worship in the manner of Friends, which we can reflect on those who have gone before us, seek divine guidance that we may be rightly led to take the actions and do the work and make the decisions that will make our work meaningful in the 60 years that go forward. So we'll have a period of silent worship. I'll sit down during that and close it by shaking hands with the colleagues beside me. Jake.
We're looking at the light scoop. It brings light in from the south. Gina Baker, Bert Hill designed this so that it would drive natural light through the third floor, second floor, down to the first floor. It uses 300-pound panels of glass in the floors, which are a signature feature of the building.
This is a heat pump system, and the heat exchange takes place through geothermal loops. 10 wells cools the water off and pumps it back through this system. It's a very efficient system, uses very little energy for the cooling produced.
I want to show you a beautiful feature of the building which the architect designed in. Instead of hardwood floors, we've used bamboo. Bamboo is a grass that matures in 3 years. It's rapidly renewable. but it makes, as you can see, a really beautiful surface that mimics the hardwood and is very durable. Now, another thing I'd like to show you is the elevator. We made it accessible using an electric rail elevator. The electric rail elevator is very efficient in its use of energy, but it doesn't use hydraulic fluid, so it's environmentally sound too. We didn't have to do this, but we chose to do it because we wanted the entire building to be accessible.
My favorite part of this project was using the wood floor joist, using all wood as opposed to structural steel for floor joist, trying to stay in with the architect's wants of using nature, back to earth, recycled materials.
This is an example of a work area and an example of the office furniture that we've chosen. We've chosen office furniture which is made of recyclable materials. For instance, there's a lot of metal. If you look here, a lot of metal in these, that's recyclable. When we're done with the furniture, it can be recycled and used again. We use these screens to offer privacy, but they let light and air through. Another interesting thing about the work areas that we've set up for the building is that people who spend a lot of time in the workplace get the windows. People who get to go outside the office for their work, they get more the center of the building, so we've reversed the usual model. Another interesting thing is this modular furniture can be moved around so that future generations who work with FCNL aren't stuck with the way we set up the workplace. They can rearrange this and use this building in whatever way they want. And finally, the light that comes through here, one of the benefits of the historic preservation or reconstruction of this building was that we discovered this was a blacksmith shop, and these were the doors to the blacksmith shop, and we were able to represent them in glass, which let a lot more light through. So it makes for a very pleasant, healthy work area. Well, Congress is about to come back in September. We've got to be ready for them. Everybody back to work, and let me have the privilege of holding the door for you for your first time through the door.